All right, we are live. How you ladies? Your host and everything in between. Uh, Today we got us a good Sunday night special. We're doing the wild and crazy things that fans say on the show. We're going to be answering all kinds of questions and comments from the fans that are related to the all of the questions that I've received from the fans over the past week or so. So we're going to be some of these we kind of brushed upon last week, but didn't really go into detail. But the rest of them, yeah, these are some pretty straightforward ones that are like, oh my god, I can't believe they went there. So before we get started, I want to make sure that you guys like and subscribe. Make sure you guys join the membership. For those of you that are return fans, I really appreciate your support. Remember that for those of you that are coming in on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, until we get everybody integrated together, you guys can click the mic or click the link and then approve the mic, approve the camera, and it'll bring you up onto the show in real time where you'll be able to talk to us live and in person in real time. You can turn off your camera if you like after you've gotten on, but I got to confirm that you are above the age of 18 before I bring you up onto the podcast because this is an adult podcast with adult content. Now, for the rest of you guys that are following us here on TikTok. So TikTok, we have, until you get you guys integrated, we have this right here. You guys can request an invite. And if you guys request an invite, we bring you up onto the show in real time. And we actually have a picture-in-picture situation where we can share you guys over to the YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter side. And I just realized that the YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter side is not showing. Get it just a second, guys. There it is, and boom. So picture in picture, there goes YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Everybody else, you guys are on TikTok. For those of you that listen at minimum to get our stream key, oh man, we got an internet scenario today. I'm loving it. Also, you guys got in the bottom right side of the screen, if you guys click the link, there it is. It's coming back up. As soon as I start talking about integrations, look at that. Now that'll take us straight to, yeah, that's one of the videos that is on the main subscription page. You guys will be able to go over there and interesting. I was going in like a motherfucker this day. This is like a preview of how things are going to be. Stand by every word now. Exactly. That's the gospel right there. Whew. OnlyFans captain. Yep. Now that was hard, but that is on our YouTube page. If you hit that subscription button, it'll take you on over to the YouTube page, and you'll be able to catch a glimpse of that video and a few other videos that we have on our podcast. Also, subscribe from our YouTube page, and then be able to bounce back over to TikTok. YouTube gives you an advanced notification that the show's about to air. TikTok, not so much so. So I strongly advise you guys to go over and jump into the YouTube platform. Also on the YouTube platform, we have merchandise. affiliate merchandise and this and that merchandise, and we strongly encourage you guys to go take a look at that. Depending on the membership tier that you join, you will receive discount percentages for some of the merchandise in some of the merchandise stores, which will give you the ability to get a reduced rate as a member of the podcast. The proceeds helps us with our podcast, improving the quality of our podcast, including the internet service that we're still working on right now. But as it is a work in progress, hopefully the buffering does not negatively impact the podcast. Yesterday's podcast was rudely interrupted by it at the end. I was wrapping it up, so it's not like we really missed out on anything, but it took me longer to close everything out because as I was doing my sign off, the whole system, like, oh my God, it was interesting. However, today we're supposed to be doing Q&As. Since we're doing Q&As today, that I am going to be playing. So I got a few statements from the fans that I'm going to be playing today. We're going to listen to them and we're going to comment on them. You can comment in the chat or you can jump up and say what you got to say in real time. Either way, up to you. Let's get started.
I just have a quick question. Do all wives cheat at work?
So this guy asked, do all wives cheat at work? So all women across the board are going to say no, women don't cheat at work. Because when women think about cheating, women think about having sexual interactions with other people, and women are not as sexual as they believe that they are. While women do have a sex drive, and their sex drive does increase with age, a woman's primary focus is not getting laid. A woman's primary focus a lot of the times with the alpha boss lady is getting money. And then second to that is formulating emotional bonds with people, which is why if you ask a woman if she would be okay with, if she would prefer to have 100 male friends or 100 fuck buddies, she'd probably say 100 male friends. But if she was on the other foot, if you asked a man if he could have 365 different sex partners a year or 365 female friends that he didn't have sex with, he would go for the former and say that he would prefer to have a different girl for every day of the week and possibly double up on some of those girls, as opposed to having a bunch of them as just friends. Now, when we think about the fact that men are physical and women are emotional, women formulate emotional bonds that does not require sexual connection. Men formulate physical bonds that do require sexual connection. So when you assume cheating from a male's perspective of a man having sex with another woman. Women cheat by having emotional connections with other men. Women will also forbid men from having emotional connections with other women, and you'll see it later on in the show tonight, what we're referring to. And women will set parameters where a man has to socially isolate himself from the female gender so that the woman can feel secure in her relationship, because the threatening of interaction between him and this other woman is more damaging to her than the threatening of the girl interacting with a guy is damaging to the guy, to her boyfriend. Now, the difference is that it's a double standard, because if a man says that he's uncomfortable with a female interacting with other men, then she's going to attack him and shame him for that as a man, and then tell him that, you know, he's insecure, blame it on trauma, talk about something from his childhood, and then, you know, disregard and dismiss all of his feelings. So a man is not allowed to tell a woman that he is not okay with the type of emotional bond that she is developing with this individual at her workplace. But while the woman will dismiss his claims and his requests, the truth of the matter is that that same woman might not cook for her boyfriend and might not organize shit for her boyfriend, but would be able to go and make a meal or bake some cookies or some shit like that and bring it to the work husband and do things for her work partner that she would not do for her relationship. And I've said that while people try to demean the dating aspects over mixed gender friendships, the fact is that you are not in a romantic relationship with a partner. You are not supposed to be having a emotional connection with someone outside of your monogamous relationship that is stronger than the emotional attachment that you have inside of your monogamous relationship. Now, in those open relationships, we're going to be talking about that later on in the week, but just for the sake of discussions, like, this is a situation that has been an issue, and people have tried to discredit it or devalue it. But truth is that you cannot have a healthy relationship with your boyfriend or your girlfriend if you have a stronger emotional connection with somebody outside of your relationship. It's not the same as loving your dad and loving your mom and loving your brothers and sisters and having more respect for your family than having respect for your boyfriend or your girlfriend. It is a big difference when you hold a female best friend or a male best friend over your partner, where this person is on the same plateau or same platform as family. And then you, as a spouse, are not able to be able to get in there and formulate that same type of bond with her. Now, one of the other things that we talk about on the show is that in these types of relationships, we also have the fact that a lot of people forget that in modern times, because we do not interact in a social format ahead of time and then develop bonds that leads to relationships, we go from first encounter to will we date or will we not date. Skip a few dozen steps. We don't get to know the person before we decide to date them. We have 2 to 10 encounters and then decide that we're in a relationship. And sometimes we have 1 encounter, 2 sexual encounters, and then decide that we're exclusively sex partners until we decide to turn that into a relationship. There isn't a format where 3, 6, 9 months, a year, 5 years of us hanging around each other exists, where we know each other inside and out and decide, I want to turn that into a relationship that turns into a marriage, that turns into a lifelong engagement. Since we skip a dozen steps, and then we got to cover the spread by making up for missed actions during the dating phase, we're determining if this person is worth our time while we're dating them, as opposed to determining if they're worth our time before we date them. And that is a fundamental problem, because if you put somebody in the friend zone, that person is not a candidate for dating. Whatever that person's flaw is from you, whether you're a male or female, whatever that person's flaw is from you, you can't see yourself in a committed relationship with that person. Now, doesn't mean you won't have sex with them. It just means that you don't see yourself building a future with this person in it, where houses and cars and investment strategies is all revolved around the satisfaction and happiness of your partner. Likewise, women do not prioritize men, where the happiness of the man is her priority, and whatever he wants and needs and desires is being taken care of by her. So when we're looking at this, the friend is a potential candidate. And if you recognize that the best friend is a potential candidate, then you recognize that your current partner came after your best friend of the opposite sex. That some bitch just Simba right on into Mufasa's position, because the best friend was waiting on their shot at being your partner. They're giving you the partner treatment, but this other person slid right on in there and took over the role. It's not a good look to say, well, I've got this person that I'm emotionally attached to, but I'm also dating somebody else. And because you have that dynamic, you have to divide your emotional attention between these two people. One of them, if not both of them, is going to get jealous. There are going to be some insecurities involved, and at some point, either the friend is going to back off so that your relationship can flourish, or your relationship is going to be rocky, and then your partner is going to force you to choose between you and the friend. I'm going to be honest with you. Anything that existed before your relationship started should not be a deciding factor if your relationship continues, because if it was there before your relationship started, likelihood it's going to be there when your relationship ends. So if you're a pet person and you got dogs and you're dating a chick that doesn't like dogs and she asks you to choose between her and dogs, you keep the dogs, because the dogs are going to be there after she's gone. You get rid of the dogs and then she decides to break up with you for something stupid, and now she's gone and the dogs are gone too. You know, you can't make a person choose for something that existed before them and you because that was in their life longer than you. So, with that being said, yes, women do emotionally cheat on their partners. Some of them is subconsciously doing it. Some of them are deliberately doing it, but they do emotionally cheat on their partners, and it does negatively impact their relationships. And when their partners do come and tell them about it, they do dismiss it more often than not. Very rarely does a woman say, "Yes, honey, I understand what you're saying. I'll stop it." More often than not, women are going to tell you what the fuck they're not going to do, and then they're going to tell you to be a man and ignore the behavior that they don't want to change and accept it for what it is. But that's not going to be the expectation from the woman. If you don't change the way she wants you to change, she will leave. A man has to work around it. A man has to self-preserve and endure it, because that's what men are supposed to do. Men are supposed to be strong. We're supposed to take bullshit. Women aren't supposed to take bullshit. It's supposed to be perfect. And if it ain't perfect, she's supposed to leave and go find perfect. But you can't leave and find perfect. You have to make it as close to perfect as possible, which means you have to make changes. It means that you have to make exceptions. It means that you have to compromise. You have to accept some bullshit so that you can get more happiness than you get bullshit, because you're not going to tell me that every relationship is fucking peaches and creams and strawberry cupcakes. It doesn't fucking work that way. All right, let's slide on into the next comment.
After a divorce, do women get jealous of the new woman their ex is dating now?
Oh boy, we got some audio issues today. So after the divorce, she's asking, after the divorce, do women get jealous the way, or do women get jealous about a man's ex? Let me see if I can pull this audio file back up in a different slot and see if we can get us a better audio file. Because like I said, we've been having some issues. And every time we deal with the issue, let's try this one. Yeah, that might actually work. Aha. So we'll slide on over just a second, guys. And it's interesting because we had good internet service when I was running it off my cell phone, but now that I'm running it off of the hotspot, now it's just like, oh my God. So we just made it to that one where she asked, are women jealous of their ex-boyfriends when their ex-boyfriends get new girlfriends? That's the question that she asked. The answer to that is yes. Hell yes. Oh my God, yes. Women are extremely jealous and controlling. And I can tell you, we just had a woman on the show 3 times this week dwelling over a boyfriend from 4 years ago that she just wouldn't let it go. We talked about it for 4 hours and 30 minutes. So in one show, she jumped in. We were talking about a completely different concept, and she continued to dwell on the boyfriend yet again on another show. The fact of the matter is that a woman wants herself to be happy with the man that she chooses. And if she can't be happy with the man that she chooses, she wants to. There are, not all the women do this, but there are a lot of women that really would prefer that the man is miserable because he wasn't happy with her. And I don't understand why women feel like it is more important for the man to be miserable than to be happy with her. And she's not going to put forth the effort to make him happy with her. And some unrealistic expectations that, oh my God, y'all, hold on a second. Let's dump that. Let's turn sound off. There we go. I don't even know why the sound was on that. There we go. Sorry. The whole TikTok page just refreshed just now. This is interesting. First weekend I've had this dilemma. Anyway, as I was saying, women are going to want the man to be the thing that makes her happy. If he with her, accepting her for who he is, he expects her to go on, or she expects him to go on and not be happy for the rest of his life instead of her loving and caring for him enough to do whatever it takes to make him happy. And if she recognizes that his happiness cannot be met by her, that she encourages him to go find happiness somewhere else. Instead, we have experienced, even on a podcast this past week, where women have encouraged the man to be miserable for the rest of his life because they broke up. And the example that I use is a lady that was on the show this past week who was talking about her boyfriend from 2020 who found another girl in 2023. He stopped talking to this girl in 2020. He's been with the new girl since 2023. It's 2024. And the old girl is so jealous that she is now in a depressed phase in 2024 about her ex from 4 years ago when she's already had other partners since 2020. That shit makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. In all reality, once you've moved on from the person in 2020, you found you another partner in 2021, that's it. The 2020 doesn't exist anymore. The 2021 going forward is what you're supposed to be focusing on. And one of the reasons why the 2021 relationship wasn't successful was your 2020 relationship that doesn't exist anymore. Another reason why your 2022 relationship didn't survive was because you sacrificed your 2022 relationship because you still have feelings for your 2020 relationship. Self-sabotaging behavior on your next relationship will prevent your next relationship from being successful because you're still hung up on your last relationship, which is one of the reasons why I strongly encourage you guys to get your shit together after your last breakup. Just like a bar after a bar fight. Close it down, fix it up, get rid of all of the damage, paint it over, remodel it, and then when you open the doors for business, you're opening the doors for business as if nothing ever happened in the past. Nobody's going to come. No, you don't. You don't see shit. It doesn't look like anything's ever been damaged here because I got rid of all of that. I said before when we were doing a show about spring cleaning your house that if you get rid of all of the shit from all of your exes, you have plenty of space in your house for your shit. And then you can organize your shit. And then not only that, you have no emotional attachments to anybody else still in your house. You have no symbols of emotional attachment in your house to someone else. So you don't have to worry about your current girlfriend being jealous of your ex-girlfriend, because that has happened. We have seen on the show where one girl destroyed her relationship because her current boyfriend had a letter hidden in his house that he knew nothing about from his ex-girlfriend, where she wrote it before she broke up with him as a hand grenade, hid it in his house like a ticking time bomb. And then when his new girlfriend, who finally starts being responsible and cleans up the house the way a good girlfriend is supposed to, cleans where the old girlfriend used to clean all the time. And then the new girlfriend takes this letter and uses this letter as a tool to start a fight with the boyfriend. That relationship melted. That is not what you're supposed to be doing. You find some shit hidden behind the washer and dryer. You find some shit in a hole in the wall behind a shift robe or some shit, knowing that your husband don't clean like that, knowing that your boyfriend don't clean like that. Don't even fuck with that. Throw that shit in the trash. Why are you dwelling on some shit that he didn't even know was there? It's different when the man puts some shit in a fucking trophy box somewhere and like kind of clings to it and like, oh, I'm gonna worship this thing for the rest of my life kind of situation, like Smeagol in the fucking Ring. But when you've got a man that has a ex that lived in his house before and she done hid some shit in his house, he ain't know nothing about the shit. It makes absolutely no sense for you as the new girlfriend to make this man feel miserable 5 years after he broke up with her by throwing in his face a letter that you found from his ex that his ex hid 5 years ago in his house. You just found it this year, and now you're going to make him feel like shit this year, where that woman is deliberately trying to destroy his future. 5 years after he's gone, she is trying to destroy his future by leaving hand grenades in his house. And I'm going to tell you, that toxicity, not good. As a man, if your ex left some shit in your house and you didn't get rid of it, you fucked up. But if your next girlfriend comes into your house and she finds shit that was left behind by your ex from 5 years ago and she make a big deal about it, she toxic as fuck too. Get rid of her too. Do not have these females in your house starting bullshit in your house over insignificant shit. Because before you get a chance to cheat on her with somebody, before you get a chance to waste some money on some bullshit that you weren't supposed to make some money on, she fussing and arguing and hooping and hollering with you about a fucking social media post or a fucking image of a person that you have no intention of smashing at all in the near future. And she will make your life a living hell because she wants to control what you do, when you do it, and who you thinking about doing it with, even if you haven't done it yet. And that is absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. So I just strongly recommend it when you start seeing this toxicity that you just say, fuck it, I'm gone, and just really bail out on the situation. Let's go ahead and move on to the next comment because we got quite a few of them today. There's going to be some lag too.
How do I compliment a guy? I genuinely have no clue how to compliment guys. Like handsome is too formal, pretty is too feminine, and cute is too childish. Plus, even if I use those, circling through the same 3 compliments gets boring. Does anyone have ideas?
Well, first and foremost, it is only boring to you because you're the one that's using it. It is going to be common when you use it with the same guy. It's going to be common when you use it in the same social group. But when you use it for the first time in settings, then it is not going to be that common. It's not going to be boring. And men do not get complimented. And no matter how many times that you tell a man that he looks handsome, a man doesn't get complimented 7 days a week. A man doesn't get complimented 365 days a year. A woman gets complimented every fucking day. How you doing, Red Void? A woman gets complimented multiple times a day. A woman gets complimented so much that women are numb to the compliments. And then not only does she get complimented so much that she gets numb to the compliments, she also gets insulted if she doesn't get complimented because she expects to be complimented. And then in addition to that, sometimes the wrong style of compliment, because she doesn't take the compliment as a compliment. A lot of times you have a female that if you don't compliment her a certain way, she's offended by the delivery of the compliment. And now you're just a creep because you complimented her. So you got to be careful with how you talk to her, because complimenting a woman could be misperceived as catcalling. So you got to be careful how you tell a girl that she's attractive. But I strongly believe that I tell men all the time, stop telling these females that they're attractive. They know they fucking attractive. You don't got to remind them that they're attractive. Instead of giving these women bullshit ass compliments, since they don't appreciate none of them, and they fish for them a lot of the times by, oh, does this outfit make my butt look big? Yes, it makes you look fat. You know, oh, do I look ugly in this dress? Yes, you look horrible. Just come right. If they're asking you a stupid ass, redundant ass question, just give them the worst possible answer you can give them, because they're fishing for unnecessary compliments. If I thought you looked bad, I would have told you don't put that outfit on. But if I told you don't put that outfit on and then you put that outfit on, don't ask me what I think about it, because I thought that you shouldn't wear that. So if you want my advice, I'm going to tell you, take that shit off and go put on this outfit over here that I selected for you that I thought you would look good in. Now, if she don't give a damn what her man's advice is, then why the fuck is she asking him what he thinks so that he can fill her head with gaslighting compliments to boost up her ego and her self-esteem unnecessarily? That makes no sense. You shouldn't waste your time with that shit. If she asks you, is she fat in this outfit, just tell her yes. Even if she's not, just tell her yes. You know? And then when it comes down to complimenting men, since men don't get complimented very often, any compliment will do. But when it comes down to complimenting women, you do not compliment a woman on being herself. If she's attractive, you don't compliment her on being attractive. Women aren't helpful all the time. So if she's helpful, that deserves a compliment, because women don't go out of their way for shit. So knowing that a female typically expects to be waited on hand and foot, typically expects to be catered to, typically expects to be worshipped, if she goes out of her way for you, that action should be recognized. As men, we should condone the behavior that we want to see in our women on a regular basis. This means that if she is behaving the way we want our girlfriends and our wives to behave, that is what we're supposed to compliment. If she's dressing like a 304 and you don't want your girl to dress like a 304, you don't compliment that. If she's dressed like a politician, if she's conservative, she's got a high collar, not showing any cleavage, not showing too much skin, she ain't got half her cheeks out, she ain't got the camel toe in the front, she ain't got the high beam showing through the shirt, she's wearing a bra, for Christ's sake, covering up the nipples. If she is conservatively dressed, more natural than artificial, without all the fake eyelashes and all this other shit that most women are using to overly glorify their appearance. If she's not doing that and she's dressing the kind of way that you would prefer your girlfriend or your wife to dress, the kind of woman that you would be proud to bring home to mama, the kind of woman that you would be proud to bring to the family reunions, the kind of woman that you would be proud to bring to the high school reunions, bring to the office parties and stuff, that is the one that deserves a compliment. But the one that looks like a stripper, the one that looks like a freelance worker, the one that looks like she's got 3 OnlyFans accounts, is doing very well financially, that's not the look that you want to say, oh, you look cute. Nah, fuck all that shit. Nah, you're not gonna hit her with the, oh, you look cute, oh, you sexy, oh, you fine. No. I'm not going to acknowledge negative behavior. So if your pockets are hanging below the seam of your pants, where you got pants and you got pocket, nope, not getting compliments. I don't care how good you look. You might look well enough for me to have sex with you on a regular basis, but I'm never going to tell you, because that is not what you're supposed to carry yourself like. I would not want my child's mother to dress that way. So if that's how you're going to dress, I'm not going to compliment that. Now, when it comes down to complimenting men have to carry themselves with a higher level of respect. We got a lot of these young boys in their 20s. They trying to dress like pretend thugs. They got their pants hanging off their behind with skinny jeans. How the fuck is you sagging with skinny jeans on, my dude? I mean, it made sense to sag in the 80s because you was wearing a pair of pants. They call them elephant pants now, but you was wearing a pair of pants back in the day that was 2 sizes too big, and you put a belt on. And sometimes the belt wasn't good enough and the pants would sag a little bit. You had weapons in your pockets that would weigh your pants down. That's why you were sagging. You had other stuff that you was hiding in them deep pockets, which is why you were sagging. These days, you got little bastards out here just sagging for the sake of sagging because they think it's cool. They wear the skinny jeans so that they can show the print. Now, why these young boys is trying to show the print? They don't need to show the print. If you got something printing, you don't need to wear skinny jeans. That print gonna show, my dude. If that's a third leg and you hung, bro, you don't need skinny jeans to advertise that. And ain't no woman really trying to get with you because of how big your print is. They're gonna get with you because of how big your wallet is. So your print could go all the way to your damn kneecap. If she sleep with you, that's all you're going to get out of that situation, because she going to treat you like shit to get you to want to sleep with her again. She going to treat you like shit until you conform to her expectations. So you still renting a girl, no matter how big your print is. So why is y'all wearing goddamn skinny jeans? Y'all need to be dressing conservative. Y'all need to be dressing with respect for yourselves as men. So, ladies, if you see a man and he's attractive, then you just tell him that. You're attractive. I think you're cute. I think you're handsome. You know, you don't tell them that they think that you think that they're pretty. That's feminine, like the lady said. But at the end of the day, if you want to say, oh, well, there's other ways that you compliment the man, what about him is attractive? Is it his strong jawline? Does he have a nice smile? Do you like his eyes? Do you there's something different with each person. Do you like his style of dress? Do you like the shoes on his feet? Do you like the way that he always comes with a positive attitude? What the fuck is it that you say that is attractive about this individual man, which is going to be a different attraction than every other man? And God forbid, the only thing that you think is cute about him is how much money he's spending. You can't really find a nice compliment to say, oh, I like how generous you are. Fuck out of here, gold digger. So at the end of the day, if you want to compliment a man, just fucking compliment him. And then you can compliment him on the shit that he does. He's opening doors for you. You're really compassionate, caring, kind. You know what I'm saying? You pay attention to the shit that he does for you, like grabbing umbrellas. He's very diligent about your well-being. You appreciate that. You know, he fixes shit. You're a really good helper. You're very tactful. You're very skillful. These are compliments that you can give a man. If he cooks for you, when your ragged ass should be cooking for him. If he cooks for you, you have a very good skill in the kitchen. If he's a planter, if he's a gardener, you've got a green thumb. You're very skilled and talented with your plants. You know, if he's smart, you're very wise, sage advice. You know, that's the kind of stuff that you just compliment him. And I guarantee you, a man's going to take any kind of compliment that he can get, because most men don't get complimented. There are so many women that come across this podcast that will shame a man and belittle a man and talk bad about a man, but very few of them will come up here and speak volumes about how good a man is. I have yet to see a woman come up here and brag about a man. The only time a woman comes up and tries to brag, she will brag about herself to try to disparage the topic of discussion when we're talking about how negative women mistreat men. And then this one woman who may or may not do that will jump up onto the podcast and try to say, oh, no, that's not all women because I don't do it. Well, just because you don't do it, bitch, you one in a million. That don't mean that out of 155 million women, that 100 million women don't behave that way. If 100 million women behave that way and you're part of the 55 million women that don't behave that way, that doesn't change the fact that it happens more often than not, which still means that the man is experiencing more often than not negative behavior from women that are not as valuable as he would want her to be, which is one of the reasons why I say from plenty of times that we should be really looking into paying attention to the kind of women that we allow ourselves to interact with. Well, yeah, of course you would never brag about your ex. You're jealous of your ex moving on with the girl. That's the one we were talking about earlier, guys. So here we go with the next comment on the show.
I asked the guy out. I can't believe what he did. I was tired of the endless messaging back and forth, so I just asked the guy out. I gave 3 options of dates and times that work. Very inexpensive dates. I said, let's get a drink or coffee. He said, sure, and asked for my number. He never texted, and I checked back on the app, and he unmatched me. To be honest, I'm happy it's now rather than later. But I just don't get it. I can't believe what he did. I was tired of the endless messaging back and forth, so I just asked the guy out. I gave 3 options of dates and times that work. Very inexpensive dates. I said, let's get a drink or coffee. He said, sure, and asked for my number. He never texted, and I checked back on the app, and he unmatched me. To be honest, I'm happy it's now rather than later. But I just don't get it.
Barbie, what did she do wrong? I want to see if you know. Because I can see exactly what she did wrong. Most women are not going to see what she did wrong. Most women are going to say that she didn't do anything wrong and there was something wrong with the guy. Barbie's talking about from before, I can always move on too, so it's fine. I mean, yeah, you can always move on, but you chose to dwell on a man from 4 years ago. So when you're dwelling on a man from 4 years ago, that's not moving on. And the multiple relationships that you claim that you have been in since then did not last. And you are currently single and you are disappointed at the fact that he is happy and you are not. And you would prefer for him to be miserable because he didn't treat you the way you wanted to be treated, which ultimately vengeful behavior is toxic. And you are not going to be able to be successful in a new relationship as long as you're dwelling on your old relationship. You will self-sabotage your new relationship because of how you feel about your last relationship or your previous relationship if it wasn't your last relationship. So as much as you could move on, you choose not to. And I don't understand why. And that just doesn't make sense. But after 4 hours and 30 minutes of that a couple of days ago, I don't see my efforts going in to try to make it make sense. So what do you think about this woman? Because to me, one of the things that many men have said is that as men, we're expected to be masculine. We're expected to be leaders. So we have a line between, because women can ask men out on dates. But the fact is that dominating a man, even in taking a man out on a date, is not a good way to go. Over assertive behavior is unattractive, whether women believe it or not. Being a boss in your relationship is not as good for you as a woman as being a boss in the workplace. You can stand your ground to the men on the job, have your position etched in stone to be respected on the job. But inversely, you get more respect in your relationship when you are not overly assertive to your boyfriend or your husband, because you chose that boyfriend or your husband the way you would choose a lawyer to represent you. So your boyfriend and your husband is supposed to be making primarily all of the important decisions in the relationship, and they're supposed to be in the benefit of you, which means that if you are overly assertive, you are taking his role as the man, which leaves him with nothing to do in a relationship. And there are a lot of women that when the man is not fulfilling his role, will belittle and degrade and devalue the man because he's not fulfilling that role. And that is another problem, because why complain about what he's not doing as a man when she is doing it for him? But she's also not doing anything that the man has asked her to do. Can't have a double standard where you're going to tell me take it or leave it for what it is, as is, used, wrecked, totaled. I got to take it as is, but you have to get the perfect product, the finished product. That makes no sense. If you're not getting from me what I'm getting from you, how can you expect more from me than you're willing to provide to me? Does that make sense? So where this woman went wrong with her ability to set up this date, the first thing she did was give the man locations and a type of date and different days out of the week. And it just so happened that that did not line up with his schedule. And he was just like, nope, she's too bossy. That's where she went wrong there. Asking him if he wanted to meet up with her in person, he would have said, yeah. He would have wanted her number to figure that out, where they're going to migrate their relationship off of the dating platform into the in-person. But with the social media platforms that exist right now, ghosting people is so easy and so common and so expected, to the point where it hurts you directly every time it happens. But the person that's doing it, it don't bother them to unlike you, to unfavorite you, to delete their whole platform and go onto a different dating site. You know, and it's nothing against you. It's just you weren't important enough for them to continue engaging you on the platform. So having him exchange contacts with you, and then after y'all exchange contacts, you reach out to him and then ask him when was he available for you to meet up with him. That's the most assertive you should be. Leave the ball in his court to make decisions. He decides that he's available on this day, and this day. If the first day that he mentions is not good for you, you mention the next day closest to that day. If that day's not good for him, he's going to mention the next day closest to that day, and y'all are going to keep doing that until something happens. If it's a Sunday, he's off on Wednesday, you're not off on Wednesday, you might say, what about sometime this weekend? That way, you're not telling him, no, I'm not interested in you. You're saying, that's not a good time for me, but I am interested in going out. So Wednesday's not a good day for me. I am available on the weekend. Are you available on the weekend? Then he might say, yeah, I'm available on the weekend, but I'm only available on like Saturday or Sunday. Well, that's fine. I don't have that much to do on Saturday or Sunday. I can arrange that meeting later that afternoon or earlier in that afternoon if you've got something to do late that night. That is one of the most effective ways to negotiate an engagement with a man. So Barbie comes up with a neat and interesting question. How you doing, Sana It? So what are your suggestions to moving on and don't have problems with dating someone else? Well, in order for you to move on, you have to fix your toxic behavior and improve your negative attitude towards destroying men, and then decide on training yourself to be a partner to a man by fulfilling the needs, wants, and expectations of men before you present yourself to another man. And then once you have mastered that, then you leave your past in your past, because hopefully you have fixed that, even if you took therapy to do it. And then after you've done that, you cater to the next man better than you expect the last man to have catered to you. You treat your next man better than you want your next man to treat you. And I'm guaranteeing you, following his instructions, you ask him what he wants, you do what he say, you will be happier. If you tell him what you're not going to do, you tell him what he better do, you make demands, you're not going to get that man. That man ain't going to put up with that bullshit. Some will hang around because of the sex for a small period of time, but when the sex gets boring, they're still going to leave because you got a fucked up attitude. And that is just like cross the board with women, that a man will tolerate a little bit of bullshit for the first 30 to 90 days because of the availability of a consistent sex partner. If the sex is satisfactory to the man. And if the sex is satisfactory to the man, he's only there for the sex. He's not there for a long-term commitment. Now, once the sex becomes boring, which is not going to take long, he's going to move on because there was nothing else that a woman of negative attitude can bring to a positive relationship besides reasonable sex. Not great sex, reasonable sex. And the quantity of times that you guys have sex is going to be the magnitude of your engagements, which means that if you're not seeing each other but once every blue moon, you're only having sex once every blue moon, you're going to be at the bottom of the list. If you're having sex every other day, you're going to be a priority to him. And then the first time you tell him you got a headache, you ain't feeling good, it's that time of the month for you, whatever, you're not even an option anymore because you're going to tell him. And that's the only thing that he can with attitude beyond the sex situation. So that's kind of where we are with that. Let's go ahead and check on the next one. We got a little bit.
Is sex on the first date a turnoff? As a 19-year-old female, if you're going on a date with someone you're really interested in.
Let's back that up because she asked the question and I want to make sure that you guys hear that. Wait, no, I want to go further up than that. I think it was 27. Really close. See, it's on 31.
Doesn't really matter and won't affect the potential.
There it is. So let's back it up a little bit because we're still dealing with a little bit of.
Some people think it might be a red flag or make it less likely to turn it.
All right. So let's back it up just a little bit more. 119. All right. The lag today is just not our friend.
On the first date a turn off? As a 19-year-old.
Found it. That's down to 9. That way it'll play through. All right, here we go. Should be able to get past the lag now.
Is sex on the first date a turn off? As a 19-year-old female, if you're going on a date with someone you're really interested in for a serious relationship, does having sex on the first date change how you see them? Some people think it might be a red flag or make it less likely to turn into something long-term. Other people feel like it doesn't really matter and won't affect the potential for a serious relationship. Does it change how you feel, or is it more about the connection and chemistry no matter how quickly things happen?
For men, no. For women, yes. Because men wear their hearts on their sleeves more often than not. So a man will be emotionally attached to a woman a whole lot quicker than a woman gets emotionally attached to the man, which also means the man is more often than not going to be in a position to start treating you like a girlfriend and treating you like a wife before you guys even officially talk about it and officially lock in that particular
Name 3 compliments gets boring.
Yeah. Before you guys officially talk about it and officially work through your thoughts and feelings. And because of that, as a woman, you could sleep with a man on the first night and a man wouldn't have a problem with turning into a more positive relationship. But a woman is, if the sex is bad, she's not going to want to have sex with him again. So that destroyed anything that y'all could have possibly had. Also, if a emotional attachment isn't formed, then she's probably going to turn him into friends with benefits where there'll be a sex partner, but then she wants to have something more with somebody else. If he does not bring enough to the table before she has sex with him, she has to shut him down. And now he has a physical desire to have sex with her again. And then the emotional attachment that he has with her, because men can use a physical connection to form an emotional connection. Women, not so much. These are mutually exclusive experiences with women. So yeah, as a woman, you can destroy the future of your relationship with a man by having sex on the first night. And you can also be teasing the man by insinuating the possibility of having sex on the first night, knowing that you're not going to have sex on the first night. Considering the fact that men spend the men that are focusing on sex as a prize spend tons of money to impress the girl to try to have sex on the first night. And some guys spend moderate quantities of money over a course of 3 or 4 dates so that they can hopefully get sex by the 3rd or 4th date. As a woman, if you're not going to have sex with the man on the first date, you should encourage the man to stick to something under $10 so that he doesn't feel obligated to get sex from you because he spent $100, $200, $300 trying to impress you. You should keep his mentality under the fact that I'm not going to allow you to spend enough money on me to make me feel obligated to have sex with you. And also being able to budget his money if he decides that he wants to charge it to the Underhills and you're saying, no, don't spend that, or I'll cover it instead. You're showing responsibility as a woman, which also puts you in a position where the man will actually have more respect for you, because most women typically charge it to the Underhills and take all the man's money and then treat the man like shit when he doesn't spend that money. So it'll be a refreshing experience for a man to have a female that actually is spending more money than she's asking the man to pay for, and taking better care of the man than she is expecting the man to take care of her. And those women who want a man to take care of her, if she takes really good care of him the first half of the dating phase, then she will have a man that'll be dedicated to her for the second half of the dating phase leading up to the marriage. Because if you're not showing and we froze, so I'm going to say it again. If you are not showing that you are willing to be a partner, then he needs to recognize that you're just here for fun. And if you're just here for fun, then he needs to really shut you down and get rid of you. Now, Barbie says something about she wanted revenge. And a lot of women do. Very toxic women do this behavior. She said, good luck to him to raising somebody else's seed. That seems to be a problem that most men have to deal with these days, because not too many women who are not having sex after marriage, those women who are smashing just about everything with the pulse, riding every ride in the fair, talking about living their life and finding themselves and learning what they want, are ending up pregnant. And I think 1 out of every 3 or 4 women have at least one child in their 20s, and 1 out of every 2 or 3 women have 2 to 4 children by the time they're 25 or 30. So the older the women get, the more likelihood the man is going to get a woman with a child. So since you're telling me about your ex from 4 years ago that you're still dwelling on a week into the podcast that has a new girl and they're in their 30s, it's expected for a woman in her 30s to have at least one kid. It's even if you don't see the kid, it is expected for a woman in her 30s to have at least one kid. I see you. What's going on, Clips XS? It's good to see you again, buddy. But bro, as much as and how was the Airbnb your dad had brought you guys to? I thought that was awesome. That was a real nice house. Unfortunately, dude, as much as I would love if you were 18 to get on here and act an ass with me on the show, there are restrictions that because you are not 18, my dude, you can't be seen on the show. And you guys did a good job coming up on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, playing the holiday music. I thought that was a very good spin. But again, that was great. But I can't bring you and your buddy. You got your buddy with you this time. I can't bring you guys onto the podcast. So appreciate you guys stopping by, though. They jumped into the green room. If you ladies would like to have comments and questions and you guys want to say what you want to say on the show, you guys can approve click the link and approve the mic and approve the camera. It brings you into my green room. And if I observe the fact that you're over the age of 18, which means I got to see you before I put you up on my show. And if I observe that you're over the age of 18, that I will put you up on my show. And then you'll be able to be into the podcast. Jay's son, he was on the show last month. Jay was at a villa. He took his family to a Airbnb, and his son is one of our fans. Got up on the show, and we had a good long talk with Dad before the kid got up on the show. But we can't have kids on an adult podcast, so we had to dismiss once the kids got up there. But you know, they're back. They're showing what's up in the green room. So got to give them a shout out that they're here. So appreciate them coming. So as we were talking about with, I got y'all everywhere right now. That yes, they do show up with kids, and that's something that men have to adapt to, and women have expectations of Yeah, that doesn't work because that's a cell phone. So and the funny thing is that because you have to register, your profile actually shows Lucas Schaefer who's authenticated for each one of the windows that you pop up on. So Clips XS is at the house of Lucas Schaefer, which is some of our top fans, and you guys are just like really clowning in my background. But just want you guys to know, I see you. I see you. I enjoy having fun with the fans. I enjoy having fun with the kids, but unfortunately, we can only have adults on the podcast. So, yes, women with children is a problem that men have to deal with, but women do not correct the decisions that they make. And truthfully, when it comes down to the difference between men and women, men have to build themselves up to the expectations of what a woman is expecting from a man. But on the flip side, men do not have that expectation with women. What actually happens is that a woman has to stop. So a man wants a woman that's closer to her purity. So that means that a woman is going to stop increasing her body count if she really wants to set her mind on a man. A man wants a woman that's going to be a partner, which means that a woman has to start giving a shit about what they want and start focusing on that man's success. And I'm going to say that again because we froze up a little bit, that if a woman wants to satisfy a man, that a woman has to pay attention to the man's wants, needs, and desires and focus on that man's success. So the things that a woman needs to think about 18 to 35 that women don't think about is some of the reasons why women can't find a good man 18 through 35. And then at 30, 35, 40 years old, a woman is set in her ways. She don't give a shit what a man wants. She's got a body count that's over 400, and that's equivalent to having a car with like 1 million miles on it. There's no value there, and she's also not willing to be a partner, so that you can't even excuse the fact that she's got children from her huge body count. That is baggage. She's got emotional trauma. She's got psychological trauma. As you can see with the way Barbie's stuck on her boyfriend, or ex-boyfriend, you've got toxic behavior, and the new man has to deal with that. I can tell you right now, I had a very psychopathic ex, and I can tell you that the shit just doesn't work out. No matter how you try to fix it as a man, no matter how you try to cope with the bullshit. I mean, you get a girl, she's checking the security camera, she's searching your cell phones, she's stalking your shit. You got females that'll block burn around your house and make sure that you ain't got nobody else there, and y'all don't even fuck with each other no more. And why do they do this? I had one that jumps up on my podcast and was pretending to be other people, jump up on my podcast. And what can I do? Hey, if you want to sit here and watch my podcast. I don't give a fuck. You're one of millions of people that will watch my podcast. But that does not mean that the ex is going to get back together, because the shit that you was doing that caused the relationship to fall apart is not going to be tolerated the second time. And one of the things that I encourage other men is that this mentality that you have said on the podcast as of recent, that you want revenge and you want to destroy him and you want to see him suffer, is the reason why it is not a good idea for a man to take his ex-girlfriend back. It doesn't matter who broke up with who, because if she wasn't satisfied with the breakup, she does not have closure. She gets back together with him, and when she gets back together with him, she will say and do what needs to be done so that she can mentally and emotionally and psychologically destroy this man and potentially destroy this man's ego and character in society. And then after she has left him alone and abandoned, that is when she's done with him, and she'll break up with him and leave him there. Nah, that's unhealthy. That toxic behavior is a horrible position for men to go through, and because that is the behavior that men go through, it is strongly advised, fellas, that you avoid that at all costs. So what I try to tell you guys to do is to pay attention to the negative behavior, observe it, recognize it, and then put a stop to that shit. That way you don't have to deal with that shit. So Barbie says, when I get upset, I watch that video of him getting knocked out in the ring. That's a horrible thought to have. Because if you really cared about him, then you would only want to see him happy. You wouldn't want to see him hurt. You wouldn't want to see him suffering. Really good women that break up with a man or you see this shit in only on fucking Netflix in the Japanese movies where they broke up long time ago and the ex-girlfriend is helping the ex-boyfriend have a successful relationship right now, telling the new girlfriend all of the things that the man likes and doesn't like, all of the things that the man is allergic to, so that the new girlfriend can better satisfy her boyfriend because the old girlfriend didn't do a good enough job. Because you have to understand, first person accountability is that I am the reason why my last relationship wasn't good, and you're the reason why your last relationship wasn't good. So if we broke up, then we both are equally responsible with the fact that we weren't successful. So you can't just say, oh, he ain't shit, and that's why we didn't work out. And I can't just say she ain't shit, and that's the reason why we didn't work out. We both was making bad choices. That's why we didn't work out. But one of us learned from that shit and decided we're going to do better and not make those mistakes in the next relationship. And that's why your ex is in a happy long-term relationship with a whole family, and you are single and depressed about the fact that you are single and he is happy. Now, Barbie says, why have sex on a first date? Wouldn't they want to wait and get STD tests? No. Nobody actually gets STD tests before they have sex. Very few people actually use condoms before they have sex. And the fact is that kissing one another has nothing to do with having sex. You can still get mono and herpes and God knows what else from kissing somebody on the mouth. You can kiss your homeboy, your best friend, your female best friend. Girls kiss each other on the cheek. Girls tongue each other down. Y'all don't ever have actual intercourse, but you've got saliva on your mouth. She's got saliva on her mouth. When y'all kiss each other, y'all are transmitting whatever y'all got. So she could be your female best friend, could be smashing a dude with an STD. She could come and hug you and give you a kiss on the cheek, and that could end up leading you towards some type of STD, and you ain't even had to really be fucking nobody. So you could end up with mono and herpes and all this other stuff. So you can't say, oh, well, you should have an STD test before you go and sleep with somebody else and blah, 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 blah. You should get tested on a regular basis, yes. But if you tested after your last sex partner, you haven't had another sex partner since the last time you got tested, it makes absolutely no sense for you to waste time and money to run out there to go try to get STD tested for the current person. Technically, you should be focusing on the emotional stability of yourself and then try to analyze the emotional stability of the other person before you start jumping into the sheets with this other person. Because if you're not about to formulate a positive connection with this person beyond sex, then you're wasting your time anyway. But while STD testing is a thing, we had a girl on the show last Sunday that was complaining about the fact that her boyfriend wanted her to take STD medication just to be sure that he would not get an STD from her because her boyfriend had an STD. Her ex-boyfriend had an STD because he cheated on her with somebody else. Now, women are not going to be popping goddamn STD medication like goddamn vitamins. So, and nobody's going to want to waste it. I mean, you'll probably take your plan B and you might take your birth control, but ain't no female going to be sitting there talking about I'm going to be throwing back STD medication every week just in case I smash somebody. And the shit is not going to hit like if you take it today, it's gonna be all powerful and effective right now. That's not how the shit works. You've got to be taking it that's why they give you the shit penicillin and all that shit for 2 weeks. You got to take it for 2 to 4 weeks before the shit really cleans out your system, because if you don't, then whichever ones that do survive, adapt, mutation, that is science. And any bacteria or viruses in your system that has boosted up over the medication that you're receiving is now immune to the medication that you are taking, which means now you're going to be taking STD medication for absolutely no reason and not be able to benefit from the medication's results. How you doing, Lucas? So she said, what are some tips for me? Stop thinking about him. I gave you those tips last week, or not last week, the last show and the show before that. She said, I sent him a video of him getting knocked out, but oh well. I mean, he already watches the video of him getting knocked out because he's got to see the mistakes that he made in that fight, which is one of the reasons why he lost that fight. So yeah, she said, I'm not going to send that girl anything. LOL. She can figure it out. Well, yeah, because you petty. He said, I don't know if he's 100% with her. I'm sure they got problems like everybody else. no relationship is perfect, but he is currently happier with her than what he was with you, and that's why he is with her and he blocked you. So you got to remember that it is what it is when it comes down to decision-making processes going on, KK. But you can't have a positive future with someone else while you're still dwelling on a relationship from 4 years ago from the past. So let's go ahead and slide into our next question of the day.
Tired of the endless messaging back and forth, so I just asked the guy out. I gave 3 options of dates and times
we
that
remember
worked.
this one.
Very inexpensive dates. I said, let's get a drink or coffee. He said, sure, and asked for my number. He never texted,
this is the one we were talking about that was to
the app, and he unmatched me. To be honest, I'm happy it's now rather than later. But I just don't get it.
And so we already talked about that one. That one was the one
Is
of the lady
sex
that was
on the
too
first date a turnoff? As a 19-year-old female, if you're going on a date with someone you're really interested in for a serious relationship, does having sex on the first date change how you see them? Some people think it might be a red flag or make it less likely to turn into something long-term. Other people feel like it doesn't really matter and won't affect the potential for a serious relationship. Does it change how you feel, or is it more about the connection and chemistry no matter how quickly things happen?
Yeah, we already went over that one.
A 55-year-old man manipulated my 37-year-old wife into leaving me for him. We had, basically, no problems in our marriage until he came along. What should I do?
Now that's a new question. Bro man asks, what is he gonna do about his relationship with this female? Because dude comes out of nowhere and quote unquote manipulates his girlfriend. Ain't no man got your girl is not stupid. So lady, no the fuck you did. She ain't like your ass. She ain't like the shit that you was doing. And one of the problems that y'all was having was that oh damn. Gotta dive back in on that one. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Get it back going. Apparently, TikTok Crip walked right on out of the live broadcast. It's got to upload itself. I want to continue the previous podcast. Continue live. There we go. So we're gonna connect the dots. Oh, I love when the internet is not in your favor. All right, so as I was saying, that ain't no female stupid enough to be manipulated and psychically controlled, and she wasn't willing to do her place. If that's what she wants to do, that's what she's gonna do. And one of the things that bars, so we good. Latency, y'all. As I was saying, I gotta adjust this for performance now. But as I was saying, so first off, ain't no female gonna be hold on a second. Let me see if I can adjust this. Because it's extra low definition. Yep, there it is. Use the definition on the other side over there because there it is. And then we're going to have some extra bandwidth because what happened was yesterday we had it tuned more for performance, and today it's not tuned that way. Today it's tuned differently. And that's one of the reasons why the podcast ain't working the way we wanted it to work. So there we go. All right. Now we're in there. Now we're in there like swimwear. All right. It's a work in progress, y'all. I told y'all once we improve the streaming quality videos, but there we go. Now private. Yeah, he's gonna do that. So the man with the 55-year-old girlfriend, or wife actually, that he says she cheated on him, and when she cheated on him, it wasn't working out in his favor because she got manipulated by the other guy. Look, the girl didn't like the shit that you was doing and had higher expectations from you than what you were providing at the time. In addition to that, this other guy was making a bunch of promises to her about what he would do that you're not doing. And that boyfriend number 2 always looks better than boyfriend number 1. And she's going to dip because the new guy is saying and doing things that you're not willing to do, that you're not capable of. And that's what she wants. And because that's what she wants, that's why she left. She wasn't manipulated. She wasn't controlled. She wasn't tricked. She wasn't gaslighted. Being gaslighted is having a man pretend like he's rich when he's not, when he's living on borrowed money and driving other people's cars, leading you to believe that he has a financial status that he doesn't have, a lot like Aladdin with the genie. And then because you fell for that, that's when you're being tricked and manipulated. That's when you're in a situation where, as a female, you thought you had a rich man, you was chasing the rich man, and then when you come to find out that that wasn't his car, that was a rental, that's not his house, that's his homeboy's house, that's not his money, that's his mama's money. Now you come to find out that he's a broke ass man, and that's not what you wanted. So because you was a gold digger, you was looking for a rich man, and he just wanted to smash, he tricked you into believing that he was a rich man so that he could smash, and then after he smashed and you realize he was broke, you feel all betrayed and manipulated. Well, look, men believe that you're beautiful with your fake hair, your fake makeup, your fake lipstick, your fake eyelashes, your push-up bra, your water bra, your waist trainer, your girder belt, your butt lifters, your tummy tuck, your liposuction, and all of this to make you look like you're attractive. You might even go the extra mile and sit in a bucket of vinegar just to make it seem like it's tighter than it really is. And truth of the matter is that after all that is said and done, when the real you come out, that you're pretending like you are is not actually that. You got women that wear 6-inch heels so that they can be 6 inches taller. At 5'1", they're wearing 6-inch stilettos. Where it's almost like climbing into a monster truck to put their shoes on so that they can look 5'7", so that they can then attract a 6'4" man. 6'4" man might not want a 5'1" or a 4'11" woman, but a 4'11" woman or a 5'1" woman is going to say that they want a tall man, but they say that the 5'6" man is too short. Well, bitch, if you put flats on at 5'1", your 5'6", 5'7" man is tall as fuck to you. But if you wearing 6-inch hooker heels and you're gonna put them 6-inch heels on at 5'7", 5'6" is an inch shorter than you. So why are you bitching? If you want a shorter man, take the damn heels off. Makes no sense. They got some women that are so short, shorter than 5 feet, that you gotta wear platform shoes where there is 3 inches of sole between your foot and the ground, and then you've got a 6-inch stiletto on top of that to make you look taller. And with all that pretending like you're somebody that you're not, you still want to boil that down to men be gaslighting women and tricking women. No, we don't. We're realistic. We're gonna make a proposition. Now, I will never say that a man will not proposition a woman. I would never say that a man will not make an offer that is reasonable enough for her to agree with. But a man is not going to dangle false promises in front of a woman expecting her to take that shit. Women dangle sex in front of a man, which is a false promise because she has no intention of sleeping with the man. She just wants to see how much money he's going to spend before he starts stomping his feet and saying, fuck this. If we're not going to have sex, then I'm not going to spend any more money. But at that point, she done got a shit ton of gifts and dinners and everything like that from him, thinking that he was going to get sex. And then once he says, all right, it's done, she's like, well, that's all I can get from him, and move on to the next man. So who's really gaslighting who in these relationships? Who's really hurting who in these relationships? Just got to point that out. Barbie said she couldn't make him happy if I didn't see him every day, and he lied all the time. He ain't lie all the time. He told you that you ain't had to wait for him because he wasn't waiting around for you. And he made it perfectly understandable that he was surprised that your ass was still hanging around. You just didn't want to pay attention to him. A lot like the guy that we were just talking about a couple of guests ago that had came on to the new girlfriend while his female friend was still in the friend zone. The female friend was mistreating the new girlfriend because the female friend was waiting on her turn to be the girlfriend, and he skipped over her because there was something about her that he didn't like. And the difference between men and women is that men have less expectations of women than women have of men. So a woman will put a man in a friend zone because of his looks. A woman will put a man in a friend zone because of his attitude, his lack of confidence, his lack of leadership skills. A woman will put a man in a friend zone because of his income. A woman will put a man in the friend zone because of his financial expectations. A woman will put a man in the friend zone because of his lack of availability. A man will put a woman in the friend zone if she's ugly and if she got a fucked up attitude. A man will not even entertain the woman if she's not willing to have sex with him. So if you're not trying to have sex with this dude, he's not really trying to make you a long-term friend. He will be in your friend zone because he wants to have sex with you. But if he don't want to have sex with you, ma'am, you are not in his friend zone. The only things that he's gonna have you in the friend zone for is because he would like to have sex with you, but you got a fucked up attitude. He would like to have sex with you, but you're a 304. He might would like to have sex with you, but you're wasteful with your money. So he knows that you will be wasteful with his money. So he might keep you at an arm's length because there's certain characteristics about you that he would tolerate if he wasn't your boyfriend, but you are not girlfriend material, which is why he's not going to date you. So any woman that is in a situation where a man is not wanting her, that is way more catastrophic than a man being in a situation where a woman doesn't want him. Because women have unrealistic reasons why they don't want a man. A man has specific, legitimate reasons why they don't want a woman. And that woman could literally change her behavior patterns, her thought processes, and really get on the program and really behave differently and be a completely different person and modify those characteristics that this person does not like. It is just behavior patterns and choices that women make that a man don't like. But a woman can't tell a man that she doesn't like short men. He can't make himself taller. You can't say that, oh, well, you don't like a man if he's too skinny. He can't make himself overweight. You can't tell an overweight man, oh, you don't like men that are too fat. But he can't make himself extremely skinny. You're looking at a man and you're judging a man by characteristics that he cannot change. But when a man looks at a woman who lies to herself as well as to everybody around her and says that she's a 10, and he's looking at characteristics, life choices, behavior patterns that make her less than a 5. And he would say that if she changed these behavior patterns, that he would be happy with her. And she says, you got to take me as I am because I'm perfect and I'm not going to change and I don't need to change. And if you don't like me, that's fine. I will play the field until I find a person that likes me for who I am. Bullet wounds and stretch marks and C-sections and all. And fact of the matter is, that's an unrealistic expectation. That's one of the reasons why women are going to be more unhappy than men, because a man will be happy single than miserable and disrespected. A woman will be happy with the multiple men in the friend zone that she can lean on for emotional support and financial support as just friends with no obligation to reciprocate, because she's not really interested in those men. And she can take 5, 10, 15 men and take a different characteristic out of each one of those men and make the perfect man, theoretically, which on paper is perfect for her because she's getting all the benefits of being the girlfriend and the wife from each one of these 5, 7, 10 men. And she doesn't have to do anything but be a 304 between all of these 5 or 10 men. And she's getting what she's looking for. Emotional connections from each one of these men. Whenever she's looking for something physical, she can get that too. None of the men that she's not willing to get physical with will ever receive physical engagement with her, but they will pay for it. They will rent her time. They will babysit her kids from the other men that she wanted that was her type, but not right for her. And the man that is right for her, that is not her type, is her best friend for 10 years. I don't understand why women haven't grasped that logic yet and haven't learned how to grow up and change from that mentality. But men recognize if I'm chasing loose women and these loose women are cheating on me, I need to stop chasing loose women. Common sense. If I'm chasing girls that are making bad decisions, I need to stop. As soon as she makes a bad decision, I got to cut her loose because I don't need women making bad decisions around me. That's how you maintain success in your relationships going forward, is to find the problems. Because not only is it just your inability to do what you should have done in your relationship, it's also your inability to pay attention to the decisions that you're making when you're selecting your partner. If you're selecting the wrong person, it's just like if you're a gambler. I knew somebody who threw away thousands of dollars in gambling, never made enough to recoup losses. If you don't understand that you suck at this, and stop, you're just going to keep throwing away your money, the money of everybody around you, but you're never going to improve yourself to be a higher value person when you got money to throw away. Moving on to the next one.
Hey everyone. So basically, I'll sum this up. I started talking to this guy pretty casually off Instagram, and then out of nowhere it escalated. I'm talking about FaceTime calls until 5 a.m., deep conversations, vlogs throughout the day, and flirting. We finally decided to hang out one night, super casual. We just walked around downtown, drove around, and listened to music. His friends and some family know about me, but I've never met them, just spoken over the phone. We still talked, and the energy stayed the same. We also have hung out a few times since, super casual, like just running errands and stuff. But I'm confused because we have only hung out, no dates. We've made out but haven't done anything else. Also, when we see each other, he doesn't become as flirty or have as many compliments as he does over the phone. Anyways, I'm confused. Like, does this man like me? Does he consider me a friend? Does he just wanna fuck? We still FaceTime almost daily, send voice memos, vlogs, and slides up on all my stories, and every time we talk he always says, we should kick it. I don't know if it makes a difference, but we've only been talking for like 2 weeks.
Well, the man wants to have a good relationship with you. Fact is, you're showing him signs of girlfriend material. He likes the way you behave around him. If he's talking about you to all of his family and friends, then you are the dominant person in his life. But like I told you earlier in the show, men wear their heart on their sleeves, which also means that if he already has fallen head over heels for you, his homeboys and his mom and his sister and all of his other family members are telling him to play it cool, don't rush into it, take it slow, don't fuck this up. And he is showing you more interest over the phone than acting on his inhibitions in person, because he really wants you in more than one way, but he's not trying to rush this into something, because the faster you get into a relationship, faster you can get out of it. I can tell you from personal experience. And you can live a 20-year marriage in 6 months if you don't do it right. So you got to be careful about the decisions that you make, and you have to try your best to pay attention to the signs, because just like we've been seeing on the show today with all of these red flags from Barbie, it's like this type of stuff is, I would tell, if I knew the next man, I would tell the next man run, because this is toxic behavior. You said he could be the same person. She just puts his BS. She don't put up with his BS more. That women do not put up with more bullshit from men. Women just have more expectations than men have, and the men can't meet those unrealistic expectations. And that's one of the reasons why women are unsatisfied with the men. You know what kind of man you got. You know how much money he makes. You know how much time he spends at work. You know how much free time he has for you. So why are you sitting over here expecting yourself to get trips around the world and his undivided attention for 4 days out of the week, and in the other 3 days you tell him to go give attention whenever you, and if he can't do that, they're going to be unsatisfied. That makes absolutely no sense. You can't sit here and put strict requirements on a man when you know what this man's lifestyle is like. If as a partner you knew what he was capable of, and then you adapted to that, and you set your expectations to the magnitude of his capabilities, you wouldn't be dealing with bullshit. Kids 16, 17, 18 years old, those are the ones that are out there playing them cat and mouse games and shit. Grown ass men ain't got time for that shit. Grown ass men are looking for wives. Grown ass men are looking for partners. And if you ain't trying to be a partner, bitch, you wasting his fucking time. You can't tell me that, oh, he's giving you bullshit. What woman dates a man, recognizes bullshit from date 1, date 3, date 5, and says, I'm gonna spend 2 years with him? No. What you got is a woman that met this man. She said, okay, he make a decent quantity of money. He might look attractive. He might be good in bed. I can deal with him. He's got expectations that she doesn't want to meet. She tries to talk him out of it. She tries to rethink his position and then put it off and dismiss it. A year, 2 years down the line, he comes back and brings her the same shit that he brought on date 2. Like the man that was talking about how he wanted more kids. He's dating this girl. She doesn't want kids. He wants more kids. When she said she didn't want kids, instead of him allowing her to talk him out of the situation, he should have broke it off with her on date 2, because he wanted kids and she don't want kids. When she don't want kids, she's not an option, because don't think that she's going to change her mind 2 years down the line and say, oh, I want kids now. women at a certain age before menopause decide to stop having children. And once she decides that she's not having children, whether she's got children or not, once she reaches that point in her life where she does not when she does not want to have children, you're not going to convince her to have children. A woman can manipulate a man into not doing something that a man wants to do. A woman can gaslight a man into not doing something that he wants to do. A woman can coerce a man, bait a man, use sex as a tool to convince a man to do things that a man doesn't want to do, embarrass him in front of his friends and family to force him to behave a certain way for her, mistreat him in public to coerce him into doing things that he wants to do. But men are not as capable. The men that are more abusive than anything are the ones that slap the shit out your ass like Chris Brown. But you don't see men on a day-to-day basis manipulating women. We make a deal. We strike a pose. Hey, I got this going on. I got this going on. I tell you what, I can do this, this, and this for you. If you do this, this, and this for me. And if she agrees to that shit, that's when you are in a situation where the man can meet expectations. But the proposition that he offered you is not what you're thinking in your mind. You're still thinking princess treatment. You thinking because he told you that if you get with him, that he's not going to let you suffer. He's going to take away your stress. He's going to take away your pain from the past. You're going to look at that and say, oh, he's going to pay for every fucking thing that I want. That is not what the fuck he said. But because that's what you're thinking in your mind, then when you go to the mall, oh, I want to go shopping. When you say, I want to go shopping, you don't ask him, do we have it in our budget for me to spend your money on stuff that I want? No woman does that. Woman says, I want to go shopping. The man, all right, cool. He takes her shopping, and she thinks that because she said that she wants to go shopping, that means that she has the ability to spend his money on her desire to go shopping. That is not the case. If a woman wants to go shopping and a man wants to spend time with her while she's shopping, he can drive her to the mall for her and then let her buy her own shit. But at no point in there is he required to pay for her shopping habits. If she wants to go shopping, she can go shopping with her own fucking money. But when a woman says that she wants to go shopping, that means that she wants to go shopping with his money. She don't ask him for permission. What she'll do instead is she will gaslight him and manipulate him and shame him. Oh, you're a man. You're supposed to pay for what I want. No, bitch. I'm a man. I'm supposed to provide you with what you need. I am supposed to do for you what you are capable of doing for yourself. I'm supposed to observe the way you spend money, and I'm supposed to determine if that is how I want my money spent. If I agree with your spending habits, we might be able to make something out of this. If you make more money than you spend and you're willing to put that money into the relationship where you're covering shit, then I might be able to make something work with that. But if you expect to keep your money in your pocket and then spend my money on top of that, and you're going to still try to be the alpha boss, no, that's not going to work. We got to draw lines in the sand and be like, fuck that shit. So here comes Barbie. Barbie says, oh, it hurts when you say I'm jealous, and I am because he chose a low down single mom to make it work with, but not me. Well, it hurts because the truth hurts. And she ain't low down because she's a single mom. Single moms are higher value women because you got some women that was a good girlfriend or a good wife and left a man that wasn't good for her, because I'm never going to say that all men are saints. But while there are women of value that have children, there are women that do not have value that do not have children. So you can't say that just because she's a single mother that she's worthless. There are a whole lot more red flags for a single mother than a single woman, but you can have just as good of a relationship with a single mother that you could have with a single woman. It just depends on how much that woman is willing to dedicate herself to the man's success and the man's agenda and the happiness of a man. So when you say that this woman is low down because she's a single woman and he is able to make it work with her when he wasn't able to make it work with you, she is more valuable to him than you because she is working more towards his success than you used to. That's how that works, which is why you are still 4 years and some months down the line talking about destroying this man that is in your past when this man has moved on to a woman that's not talking to him about her past. You spent more time over the past 7 days talking to me about this woman and how you unsatisfied with the fact that she's doing what you couldn't do than what you spent over the past 4 years fixing what you fucked up so that you don't have the same problem with somebody else. That's on you. That's not him. And that's not her. That's you. That's just you. All you by yourself. Barbie goes on to say she has a kid, so how does he find the attractive if he body is jacked up? Is she cooking and cleaning for him? Don't matter if she's cooking and cleaning. It don't matter. Like I said before, a man can take an unattractive woman and turn her into a wife if she's treating them right, because men want respect more than they want beauty. You could be beautiful with a fucked up attitude and a man ain't going to want you. You can be toxic the way we've observed today and the last few days with the mentality that you have that you need to improve before you get with somebody else. And that toxicity is going to make people say, I don't want to fuck with you. It doesn't matter how many kids she has, because women drop children the older that they get. Women start having kids between 15 and 16 years old. And that's the youngest ages. So you have single moms with 2-3 kids by 18 to 20. You have single moms with 3 to 5 kids if they're going to have 3 to 5 kids between 20 and 25. So when you come across a single mom with 1 kid at 32, you're lucky, because there are more mothers out there than there are single women with no kids. And somebody find a statistic to prove me wrong, but there are more women with children than there are women without children in the dating game right now. So the men have to deal with the children, but the children are a red flag to the men because the men have more obstacles because of the children. But the women do not have to deal with the broke men because the broke men are not an option. So the women are all fighting over the rich men or the moderately rich men and the average income man, and the broke man, the women aren't paying attention to. Those are the men that are in the friend zone. But men take damaged women as they are. Women don't take damaged men as they are. I ain't got time to raise no man, and I can do bad all by myself. It's the mentality of the woman. So the fact that she's expecting him to do for her what she isn't willing to do for him, that's a bad woman for that man. Now, if she gets her shit together, then she might actually become a better woman for the next man. But for the current man, she ain't shit. And when a man recognizes that the woman that he's talking to ain't shit, he's going to leave this woman for a woman that's better than the one that he's got. Barbie goes on to say, keep having fantasies of them together, like dinner dates, going to Disneyland and all the time. Of course, because he's happy. He didn't go nowhere with you. Whatever y'all did in the backseat of the car is all y'all was able to knock off three times a year. So it goes to show you that he wasn't really interested in you, and I don't get off of him. She says like single moms are used up. Well, a single woman with no kids that has a body count of 100, 200, 300, they're used up. To be fair, 50 is used up. To be fair, 20 is pretty worn out. 20 different partners with God knows how many sessions with each partner is pretty worn out. If you contribute the body count to the ownership of vehicles, a vehicle with 5, 6, 7 owners ain't as valuable as a vehicle with only 1 owner. So you can be single with no kids and still be worthless. But you can be a 32-year-old virgin with a fucked up attitude and be less valuable than a woman with 100 body count that's willing to worship the ground that her boyfriend walks on and treat him like a king. So just take into consideration that attitude and value and respect is kind of like priority number 1 for the man. Loyalty is up there with respect. And then after that, it's your attitude. So if your attitude needs to be adjusted and you don't want to do it, like you kind of digging your own grave there. I'm going to do 2 more of these. Then we're going to get in on the rest of these questions and comments because we got a few of them. Bobby said, so when they go out to dinner, does he pay for 3 of them or what? He could pay for all 3 of them because that's what men are expected to do. She says, I don't see any pictures of the Disneylands. Though men don't take pictures of everything that they got going on. That's disrespectful about the book seat. I'm sure they did it. The back seat. It's why they are together now. Well, you can say it's disrespectful, but the truth is the truth. I told you before, there's no compassion with my words because I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, whether you like it or not. Because on this, that, and everything in between, I make it make sense. And the fact is that men are expected to pay for everything. So if the man is paying for the woman and the child, a single mother is going to expect the man to provide for the child. So that's one of the red flags. When a man is dating a woman and recognizes that she has a child, he has to recognize that he has two financial obligations out the gate, amongst all the other things. But if he's willing to accept that, and he's getting the respect from a child, and he's getting the respect from the mother, and the woman is earning her keep to offset the behavior or the expenses of him paying for the mother and the child, then they make it worth it. Let's move on to the next question.
Girlfriend wants to know how much money I make. I don't want to tell her. Is how much I make any of her business? I run a business and make a very good living. I typically make between $350,000 and $500,000 per year, but I live modestly. I own a 4-bedroom modest house in a quiet, but not wealthy neighborhood. I have a several-year-old Honda Accord, and my lifestyle is not flashy, nor do I need a bunch of expensive toys or to be taking vacations every month. I enjoy a simple life despite having quite a large amount of money in the bank. Anyhow, my girlfriend of several months asked me how much money I make. I mostly just ignore her question. I don't feel it is her business, and I also don't feel comfortable discussing it. I feel if I am honest about it, I will immediately be viewed as a walking bank account, and it will change the relationship with any person I tell. I typically pay more than my fair share on dates and such, but I am guessing as soon as anyone finds out they will expect me to pay for everything and be a walking ATM machine. I also don't want anyone to be eager to try to marry me, solely for money. Is it best to just keep how much I make completely secret from any partner?
Oh, of course. For as long as you possibly can, bro, you want to make sure that you don't tell her how much you make. I'm going to tell you right now, lock your phones up. Don't give her the password to your phone. Lock your phone up. Don't give her the password to your phone. Don't tell her how much money you make. Don't let her see your bank accounts. Don't get paperless bank statements so that she can't see your bank statements in the mail. Don't check your balance in front of her. Don't get receipts at the ATM machine when she's standing there. Don't view your balance at the ATM machine when she's standing there. Check your money on your phone and take exactly what you need out of the thing. And don't check your money on the phone while she's standing next to you. Don't tell her where you're staying at if you can't trust her to respect what you got going on. Like the woman that had the man she was dating for 6 months and he would never bring her to his house until you sure that you're okay with her living there. You don't show her where your house is at, because toxic women will come to your house and set your car on fire and throw a brick through your car and spray paint your car and slash all your tires. You don't need that shit. You don't need a female up in your house setting your bathtub on fire like Left Eye. These women are toxic, and men do not behave this way. When a man gets tired of a woman, a man just leaves. A man is not going to spray paint a woman's car. A man's not going to key a woman's car. A man's not going to take a baseball bat to a woman's car. Women are so emotional and vindictive with their emotional behavior to the point where women will destroy a man and all of the man's stuff out of revenge because she is not satisfied with how unhappy she is and how much her unhappiness does not negative, which also means that because he's moderately to okay with his situation and she is devastated in her situation, she will try to make him as miserable, if not more miserable than her. This is where happy wife, happy life comes from. I strongly disagree with this. I personally believe that this behavior is unhealthy. So you live a moderate life. You live a beneath your means, which means that you're making way more money than your standard of living. That is how you're able to invest. That is how you're able to build up. That is how you're going to be able to set up a life of wealth in the future where you can live off of your success, whether you will it to your kids, whether it just goes to the government, whatever the fuck happens. The second half of your life is going to be more successful if you are not wasting your money on these gold diggers. So if you decide to say, I'm not dealing with that bullshit, you will be better off. So telling her how much money you make so that she can guilt trip you into giving her money? No. telling her how much money you got in the bank so that she can start touching stuff that will force you to have to pay for it. No. Going places like you take her out to dinners, you need to be modest about your taking her out to dinner, because if you're paying more than your fair share and she ain't trying to reciprocate, then you should not be with her ass in the first place. When you got greedy and spiteful and evil, vindictive women that are on your ticket trying to make your bad situation worse, you got to start recognizing for yourself how this shit is not good for y'all. Now, Barbie's going to come up and ask us, does he have the money for Disneyland? It don't matter if he got the money for Disneyland. It don't matter if she got the money for Disneyland. It don't matter if they put the money together for Disneyland. That's your ex-boyfriend from 4 years ago. So it don't matter if he go to Disneyland with this chick. What matters is that you fix your own life so that you can take yourself to Disney World instead of Disneyland and stop messing with that man and that man family. But that toxic behavior that we looking at right now today is the same toxic behavior that men have to deal with from women on a regular basis, which is why men have set standards and say that if she don't fit them expectations, non-negotiable expectations for behavior, as men, we're saying, fuck this shit, we're out before we are too financially invested into the situation, trying to do collateral damage and save on our investment. We don't even get started because the shit don't make no sense. Well, let's go ahead and see what's going on with the next one.
Saw my cousin's sexy picture in the phone of my boyfriend of 6 years. How do we fix this relationship? Or is it even fixable? I am a 27-year-old female and I accidentally found a sexy photo of my 24-year-old cousin on my 27-year-old boyfriend's phone and completely lost it. I slapped him, screamed at him, packed a bag and spent the night in a hotel because I could.
Y'all see this toxic ass behavior? We just finished talking about this shit. Before I can even finish what she got to say, first off, you going through his motherfucking phone. Why? Looking for shit. Why? She gonna rat on herself later, but why is she going through his phone looking for problems so that you can start shit with this man? Whatever he's doing is your goddamn business, and if he's been doing it for an extended period of time, then you're gonna sit over here and try to control him by making him not do it. Then the first time he leaves his phone where you can get your hands on it unlocked, you're going to run over there and go scroll through all of his history and find a problem. And now you beating on the man and disrespecting the man. You want to grab your shit and leave. As soon as you left, he should have changed the locks on your ass, because that make no goddamn sense for you to be hitting up. If you ain't satisfied with the relationship that you are in, you can quietly, politely pack your shit up and get the fuck out of his house. Why the hell is you hitting on this man and yelling and cussing and degrading and devaluing this man? Men don't get the privilege of beating the shit out of a woman and saying, I'm moving out. He don't like you. He gonna grab his stuff and he gonna leave. You're gonna go to work. You're gonna come back and the house gonna be empty with a note. If you lucky, there'll be a note letting you know that he's done. But a man ain't going to get there, beat you up and throw you out the house and all this other stuff because he unsatisfied with you. I mean, unless you're dating Chris Brown or Quavo. But if it ain't one of them, you're not going to be getting punched in the face and smacked around. This ain't Baby Boy. You understand? So why is y'all so goddamn violent towards men? And then y'all want to say men are more violent than women. Y'all full of shit. Let's finish what this woman got to say.
Could not bear to even look at him. It is important to note, she did not send the photo. She
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I got to back up a little bit because we had a few seconds of lag here. So let me back up a little bit.
Because I could not bear to even look at him. It is important to note, she did not send the photo. She uploaded the photo on her IG and he saved it. I've caught him saving photos of random women online since 2019, mostly celebrities or strangers. Each time I told him how much it bothered and hurt me. This has also caused me so much insecurity. And he promised to stop, but it kept happening again and again. After a while, I gave up and set a boundary instead. Do whatever as long as I know friends or family. So when I saw the photo of my cousin, who is a girl I'm super protective of because I consider her more like a sister, I was so mad. She's into cosplay and often posts revealing photos, but I never thought my boyfriend would find them arousing enough to save one on his phone.
Hold on. Now, why the fuck you ain't go by your friend and tell her, your cousin, and tell her to quit doing that shit? Why you got to set up boundaries for him and tell him what he's not allowed to do as a grown-ass man? Why you can't go over there by your cousin and say, don't be putting these overly revealing outfits on and posting them up on Instagram, which is devaluing to her in general? Why are you going to sit over here and say, oh, no, he can't download photos of attractive women that he's probably going to put into his spank bank collection because you're not sleeping with him as much as he would like for you to sleep with him. You set boundaries and standards and all this other shit and control when he can get emotional attention from you and sexual attention from you and all of what you're not going to do on a regular basis, but you want him to be mutually exclusive to you, but you're not willing to satisfy this man 100% of his sexual desires. And then you're going to control what he looks at, instead of just putting on the fucking cosplay outfits for the man and turning and fulfilling all of his sexual fantasies yourself. If you are the catalyst of his desire, he ain't got to find desire in other women. But if you are mistreating this man, you are isolating this man from any desires, then he's going to find those desires on social media because it's there. Free pornography. Now, the only way that you could put a stop to that is, instead of going through his phone and talking shit to the man and mistreating the man, first, you tell your cousin to put that bullshit out. And second, you be your man's desire, which requires you to cater to your man. All wants, needs, and desires. I've been telling you that all night. Then put on a French maid outfit. Do something freaky with him. Then put on some cosplay outfits. Do something else freaky with him. Find out what this man likes. If he's been doing this since 2019, it's 2024. You just put this post up here this year, this month. So from 19 to 24, that's 5 years, 6 years that this man has been doing this. And he's been doing it long before that. You just caught it in 2019 when you was going through your phone because he was proving to you that he could be trusted. So he unlocks his phone trying to be transparent. And women use that narcissistic gaslighting to control men, because they'll say that if you ain't got nothing to hide, then I can see your phone. And then the man is proving himself to be loyal by being overly transparent, which is unnecessary, because if she don't trust your ass, she don't trust your ass. But because you're being overly transparent, now she can find reasons to start a fight with you. And because she's finding reasons to start a fight with you, now you're not getting into an argument because you cheated on her with somebody else. You're getting into an argument because you like the post, you like the photo, you followed a female on social media. You don't even communicate with the person. You just click the like button on your For You page, and now you're getting more images of that particular type of person or that particular person in general. And because of that, she's cussing you out and treating you like garbage because of your internet search selection. That's it. Your internet search selection, your history, your Google history. She's treating you like shit because of your Google history, your choice of entertainment on your cell phone, on your personal cell phone. Not because you got 2, 3, 4 girlfriends on the side. Not because you took her inheritance money and spent it on a brand new Lambo and then crashed the Lambo. Because of your personal internet choices, self-gratification, because you're not getting the gratification from your girlfriend or your wife, which is the only reason why the adult industry exists, because women put standards on their willingness to satisfy their man sexually, and then their man seeks self-preservation, satisfaction from other women, other places, even if he has to pay for it. So if he can budget paying for the wants and needs and desires and unexpected real expectations from the girlfriend, and still have a little bit of change on the side to pay another woman to do what his girlfriend doesn't want to do while he's renting his girlfriend and he's unsatisfied with that, he actually now can have this other girl that he's also renting actually do what he wants. So, I mean, you can't get mad if the man is looking at photos on IG. If you don't want the man to look at photos on IG, you be the photos that he look at. You dress the way that he wants you to dress behind closed doors, but you're going to dress conservatively when you're not behind closed doors. You're going to meet the man's wants, needs, and desires behind closed doors so that he's not interested in getting those desires met by somebody on social media. Think about this now, ladies. If y'all put yourself in a place, what's going on, Carter? If y'all put yourselves in a place where y'all are able to get respected by your man and be loved and valued by your man, then your man ain't going to be looking for another woman somewhere else. Men do want variety. If you and your cousin, Miss Ma'am, was linked up with this man, then you wouldn't have to worry about the man going nowhere else because he wants you and he wants her. But I mean, at the same time, you can't tell me that you're going to control your man and tell your man what he's not going to do, and then you're going to turn back around and treat him like crap and beat him up and everything like that because he didn't do what you say. Because no woman is going to say that it's okay for a man to beat her up and control her and manipulate her because she didn't do what he said. So women should stop believing that it's okay for the women to do that to the men. So I'm doing all right, Carter. I see you there. Today was our member show. We were doing questions and comments from the fans. We're listening to a few comments from some of the fans that's been going across the feed, and I'm putting up the comments. Playing the audio file of the comments so you guys can hear the crap that we go through on a regular basis, and then responding to those comments. If you guys got thoughts and opinions and stuff about it, by all means, chime in. We're gonna go ahead and slide into the next female's thoughts and opinions because we got quite a few of them up here. We're on the back end of it though, so we do got a few more, but we're on the back end of it though.
He knows her, has met her multiple times, and even let her stay with us when she visited. Seeing her picture in his gallery shattered me. The guy I thought I knew, who was sweet, caring, and someone I've been with for 6 years, suddenly feels like a stranger.
That man ain't no stranger. He's the same man that was taking photos off of his IG in 2019 that he taking photos off his IG in 2024. You just pissed off that your cousin is more attractive than you, and your boyfriend downloaded that onto his phone, and you pissed off because he's able to use that photo to satisfy dirty thoughts with that photo that he don't do with you. Do you notice that one thing that you're not telling us on the podcast is that this man is not downloading any sexy pictures of his girlfriend onto his cell phone? You're not sending him sexy pictures of you, but you're complaining about him looking at sexy pictures of celebrity women. And now your overly sexualized cousin who's putting up very slutty photos of herself on IG. Your fault, not just, I mean, you can say that a man is at fault for his internet choice and all this other stuff, but it's your fault because you knew about it from 2019. You're going through his phone and that's how you found it. So, because she's not sending it to him. So they do not have interactions back and forward where she's sending him new photos of herself. He's just up there taking whatever's on the internet and downloading it like, that's what's up. I want to look at that photo a second or third time. That's male instinct. It's better for him to take those fantasies off innocently by himself than for him to act on those thoughts by going and smashing your cousin when your cousin come over to spend a night. Think about that. Continuing.
I can't believe he'd do this, and I don't know how to talk to him or move forward. The trust is gone, and I'm afraid it's irreparable. I love him so much, though, and we've lived together for 3 years. We've even talked about marriage, but now I'm terrified that everything is falling apart. I don't know if I can look at him without disgust or if I'll ever trust him around my family again. I'm considering breaking up, but I'm so torn because I had planned my whole life with him. When we talk tomorrow, when I get home from the hotel, how do I even approach this conversation?
You know, I'm gonna tell you right now. You don't. You pack your bags, you get the fuck out because you done already fucked up the relationship. There was no trust in the relationship because you saying that you've been living with him for 3 years, which is 2021. You say you was finding photos of other women that he downloaded off of social media in 2019. That's 2 years before you moved in. You telling me that he just downloaded a photo of your sexy cousin this past 30 days, 45 days, 60 days ago because she put on a slutty outfit right before Halloween and he downloaded that shit. You sitting over here talking about stuff. You can't trust him. He's a different man. He ain't no different man. He's the same fucking man that he was before you moved in. He's the same fucking man that he was 5 years ago. He's the same man that he's been the last 3 years that you've been living in the house with him. It's just this time it's your cousin. And that is your fault because if you knew what kind of man he was in 2019 and you didn't like that shit, you should have left in 2019. If you thought that was too much for you to deal with in 2019, you should have stopped in 2019. You should not have dated him from 2019 to 2024 and then set standards for him that he can't do, setting rules for him. You don't follow instructions. Women do not do what men tell them to do. They are offended by the idea of following the instructions of a man, but you got the audacity to say, I'm setting boundaries for myself and setting rules for a fucking man. If you're not going to do what he tells you to do, why the fuck does he need to listen to you? And then if you're not going to respect him and his desires and take him as he is, porno mindset at all, then why do you expect the man to take you as you are with all of your fucking flaws? So there was no trust in this relationship. You had plenty of insecurities from the beginning, but you never faced those insecurities. And now you're taking that shit out on this man, and you want this man to do differently than the other men, but you're not going to get that because your selective choice, some women actually find the kind of men that remind them of the man that didn't do them the way they wanted to be done. And that is a self-traumatizing behavior, self-sacrificing behavior, and then you're going to put yourself back into another toxic relationship, which is why I said after you get out of a bad relationship, you got to fix all of the shit that went wrong. Stop doing certain shit. Stop allowing certain shit. Change your thought process and then aim for a new relationship. It's like rebuilding a car. It's just that you're not going to allow it to have the same flaws. You can't tell me that a car that got into a crash because the alignment was off, you're going to restore it, but you're not going to fix the fucking alignment. The car's going to get into another crash. You got to cut that shit out. You can't tell me that you got a car with no brakes on it that got into a crash. You're going to fix everything but the fucking brakes. If you got a bad attitude and you're getting with men that don't like your attitude, you can't say that if you never change your attitude that the men are going to stay with you. It doesn't work that way. You have insecurities. You got to get over those insecurities before you get into another relationship, because you're not going to be successful in a new relationship if your insecurities are holding you back from the previous relationship. And if you have compound trauma from compound relationships where you have this relationship sucked, this relationship was just like that relationship, this next relationship was just like the last two relationships, and all three of them relationships got you in a fourth relationship where you're still not happy, there is nothing that you can do that the new person can do to get you to get over what the last four fucked up relationships did to you. The only thing the new one can do is not do the things that triggered you in the past. But how the fuck am I supposed to know what all your triggers are? But a man that finds a woman that's got that many triggers, those are all red flags. Those are penalties on the play. And at some point, she's got to get blacklisted because you can't deal with all that toxicity. But this lady's going on to say that not only did this man used to do this in the past, she got control issues because she's unsatisfied with herself and her decision to be with a dude that likes pretty much every other woman except her. That's her mentality. Because notice, she ain't sitting over here talking about some she's included in the database that he's collected on his phone, which is an ego trip.
How can we repair this relationship? I'm so lost.
You lost that, baby girl. You lost
My
that.
boyfriend who's 30 has a close female friend who is 34 who blatantly dislikes me, and I'm 29. On top of that, she makes no secret of it. I've reached a stage where it's her or me. How can I confront my boyfriend?
Nope.
I don't know if I'm being wildly unreasonable and jealous over this, so I need some outside opinions. I have been with my boyfriend for 3 years, and we share an apartment. He has a female friend, Nell, and they were friends for years before I came along. I had no issue with their closeness. I have male friends and knew I'd be a hypocrite to leap to judgment.
Damn right.
But at this point, I feel I'm justified in thinking the way I do about her.
Nope.
The first time I met her, it was extremely obvious Nell didn't like me.
Of course
She
not.
came into the bar all excited to see my boyfriend before noticing me. Her entire demeanor changed. She shook my hand and dug her nails into my skin before ignoring me the rest of the night. She even seemed upset at one point that I took the seat beside my boyfriend and quietly left halfway through the evening without saying goodbye. So it's safe to say my first impression of her wasn't good, but I tried to reason with myself that not everyone gets along, and I don't need to be friends with my boyfriend's friends. However, as time passed, it became really clear Nell's attitude towards me wasn't improving. She had a way of openly mocking me in front of groups of people, making side comments, or loudly joking about my voice or appearance. My boyfriend would stand there and say nothing, and after the fact when I asked him about it, he'd say he hadn't noticed. She'd also make a show of hugging him hello and goodbye and not me. She would mix that kind of stuff in with smiles and basic politeness, so it was tough to articulate exactly what she'd done. I felt very much like I was back in high school. From that point on, I basically decided I didn't need to have someone like that in my life, so just stopped going to things she was at. I haven't seen her in about a year. My boyfriend still sees her regularly and they text often. I'm now at the stage where I fully believe they've either dated in the past or have something going on now. I've tried gently bringing this up, but he denies they ever dated and makes me feel like I'm being jealous and bitter by asking. I end up suppressing those feelings before something brings them up again.
Nope.
I've reached the end of my tether with it. The final straw for me came the other day when my boyfriend left his phone open and I saw a text exchange between the two. Nell had sent him a heart emoji, and my boyfriend had written something about how he was thinking of her. I know I should have said something then and there, but I felt numb and decided to go to bed. I'm trying to work out how to handle this. Is it possible nothing's going on here? It's something I've tried arguing in my head, but then something else pops up that makes me doubt it. Maybe friends do just send hearts. And I'm making this up because I don't care for Nell. I don't want that to be the case. I'm basically at a point where I feel he either has to tell me the truth and restrict contact with Nell, or else I don't feel like I can maintain the relationship. I feel constantly disrespected, and I want something to change but don't know how to go about it. Any advice would be so welcome.
You got male friends, he's got female friends. You jealous of this female friend because she is the same position as those male friends. Those male friends are waiting on their turn. You're overly affectionate with your male friends because they're just friends to you, but you have strong emotional attachments to them the same way you've got an emotional attachment to your boyfriend. He can't tell you how to treat those men the same way you can't tell him how to treat this woman. You are jealous of her. He doesn't give two shits because you've got all these other men on the side. She's got this female, or he's got this female on the side. Now, that female, you took her place. That's why she's treating you the way she's treating you, because she was supposed to be the next woman, but she's not worthy of being the next woman, and that's why she's just a friend. You are about to sabotage your relationship because when you met him and you noticed that she has feelings for him, if you could not regulate that shit from the first date, you should have backed out of that, because if he is too close to her, he can't get that close to you. And you allowed yourself to be in a 3-year-long relationship with him, knowing that this girl was there. Now you done backed out of the situation. He hasn't stopped seeing her, so he's gonna still be friends with her whether you stay or go. And that girl might be the next girlfriend after you because your ass ain't acting right. But all of these male boyfriends or male friends that you have that he ain't complaining about, he'll hang out with you with your male friends. You hang out with him with his female friends. And this is why when 2024, y'all say, oh, y'all can have friends outside of y'all relationship. No, the fuck you can't. Because if you got somebody that your partner is friends with that you don't like, that's of the opposite sex, it is inappropriate for you to ask them to not have that person. And you have friends of the opposite sex in your category. In order for you to say, hey, it's about time for us to cut off all of our mixed gender friendships and be exclusive to one another, get us some couple friends, blase squaze. You got to cut off all of your male friends in order to ask this man to stop seeing this one female friend. Because you cannot hypocritically say, oh, it's either her or me. You can't have her as a female friend, but I can have all these male friends. No. Whatever the standard is going to be, it's got to be uniform. Whatever your expectations are of him must be the same expectations that you will adhere to. So if you are not going to put yourself in a position where you are going to support him the way you want him to support you emotionally, then you should have bailed out of that relationship a long time ago. You should not have been trolling this man's life, beefing it out with the girl that wants to be his girlfriend, and then you actually backed out of the fold, and now you want to say, oh, well, I'm gonna go to the ref and make them disqualify her. No, if that's your man and you're gonna stand on principle and you're gonna put your foot down, he's not gonna tell her what not to do. He should tell him don't disrespect his girlfriend, but at the same time, you still got to respect his friend. Same difference with he can't disrespect your male friends. You must respect his female friends. So if your male friends insulted him in some way, shape, or form, as a man, he's supposed to sit there and shut up and not do anything about it. If he doesn't feel comfortable with it, he's supposed to have a conversation with you between the two of y'all. If you do something about it, you do something about it. But more often than not, women say, oh, he was just playing, and ride it off. I don't care if he was just playing. If it fucking bothered me, do something. The same way this situation is fucking bothering you, you're expecting your man to do something. But he can't control your friends the same way you can't control his friends. So uniformly speaking, in order for you to tell him that he needs to not have mixed gender relationships, mixed gender friendships outside of his romantic relationship with you. You have to admittedly become exclusive. Block all of those male friends on your phone, delete their phone number, and then ask him to reciprocate. And in addition to that, no longer have contact with those men. Don't just delete them off the phone and then y'all gonna hook up on social media. Y'all gonna meet up around the way. Y'all have a hangout spot that y'all go to on a certain time of day at a certain day of the week. If you got a friend that you meet, a locational friend that you meet on certain days of the week at a certain time, you no longer going to that place. You're not no longer going to that place at that time because you're not meeting up with that person no more. If you're exclusive, you're exclusive. If you're subjectively exclusive, then you're not exclusive because exclusive means limited. You are not limited. So if you're going to put 100% of your effort into your men, you need to tighten the fuck up and put 100% of your effort into your men. If you're not going to put 100% of your effort into your men, if you're only going to dictate terms, he need to kick your ass to the curb because he ain't had no problems before you. But there's something about you that he liked more than his female friend. That's why he's not dating his female friend. He's dating you. And if you don't see that as a you won already and you just start sitting on the throne as the queen and stop being a bitch, he gonna kick you to the curb if you don't walk out. But I told y'all earlier in the show, I said, do not replace something that has existed before this relationship started with this relationship, because this relationship is not guaranteed. When this relationship is over, you will have lost everything that you sacrificed for this relationship and this relationship. You only make sacrifices equivalent to the sacrifices that are offered up to you. Just like the laws of alchemy, equivalent exchange. You can only ask me to do what you are willing, capable, and already doing. You can't say, oh, I do it if you ask me to do it. No, you do it because you're asking me to do it. If you're asking me to do it, you do it. Because I'll be goddamn if I'm going to be in a situation where you're going to ask me to do some shit that you're not doing. You're not going to ask me to not do shit that you are doing. That is extremely hypocritical. Just like you said, man, when you come and tell me, oh, well, I know that because I got friends, I don't want to say nothing because I'll be a hypocrite. You'll be more than a hypocrite. Because if you understand this woman's behavior with your boyfriend, that is your male friend's behavior with your boyfriend. So you are actually experiencing shoe on the other foot behavior. And the way he's able to suppress that and not say anything and not do anything and not show anybody that it bothers him, you are going to have to figure out how to do the same thing, or y'all are going to have to redo your whole relationship dynamic. Because the only other option that I can give you as far as advice is that you really should just break up with this dude and get into a relationship with a man that does not have female friends and dispose of your female friends, because women only really keep men as male friends as backup options to the main boyfriend. Y'all got rebound dudes, y'all got ex-boyfriends as male friends, y'all got people that y'all don't have sexual relations with as, oh, that's my best friend. If that man had crawled up inside of you, he should not be considered a best friend. That's just inappropriate. But unfortunately, that's the position that we have right now, and women are not paying attention to that. But you can't set the double standard and have unrealistic expectations for your partner that you're not willing to adhere to for yourself. So we did reach the end of our list of Q&As for the day. 2 hours in, mostly because of the lag of the internet. But I really appreciate you guys who put in the effort of coming in and staying in and dropping back in. If you got disconnected with all of our bad internet, we're going to be troubleshooting the internet tomorrow. Hopefully they've got a solution for it. They were supposed to be watching it for 72 hours. So tomorrow afternoon, they're going to be talking to me about what their solution is for all of this lag we've been experiencing. We're going to be looking at some different locations for the podcast coming soon. So as we analyze that, we should be able to find ourselves in a location that has better, which should improve the quality. We got to invest, and it takes money to make money. So as we invest in the podcast and we improve the internet speed, we'll improve the podcast. And as we improve the podcast, we'll start bringing extra guests up on the show. I did tell you guys about that investor. I'm waiting on his book. His book is coming in the mail. I'm going to be able to do a box opening on the book. I'll be able to bring the book to the live podcast. We'll be able to talk about some of the concepts that are in the book. I'll give you guys some links to the information about the book. And then after that, I'm going to schedule time to have him up on the show. And then we'll be able to talk about some investment strategies from him coming soon. We just haven't organized that yet. I've got shows scheduled till the 18th of October. So I'm going to be trying my best to make sure that I can get those shows scheduled till as far out as the 29th or 30th of October. And then we're going to enjoy the rest of our month. As it stands right now, I really appreciate you guys for coming. I really appreciate you guys who are coming back, because I know that we've been dealing with some very bad signal issues today, but we're still working on it. So as I sign out, I'm going to start off signing out with TikTok, even though I've kind of signed out of TikTok 4 times in the last 2.5 hours. Ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking y'all to make it make sense. So ladies, make it make sense. And for the rest of you guys that are on Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter, I really appreciate you guys showing up and showing out, dedicating yourselves to the cause. It has been a really good experience with you guys, and we have definitely been building up a really good foundation of, oh God, they're asking me what all is the problem. Everything is the problem. Both sides, everything freezing up. We got lag issues. Like, they're gonna ask me what is the problem. When the whole show turned off, bro, that's the fucking problem right there. That's it. You can't ask me, what did you not like? I didn't like the fact that the fucker turned off without me wanting it to be turned off. That's a big no-no. I love the way they ask me these things, and then I'm trying to make it make sense. So yeah. As I see you guys, we're wrapping it up. We're on our way out of here. So I appreciate you guys that are popping in right now towards the end of the show. But y'all just got to remember, we're here 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 5 Pacific. Special shout outs to Carter for the first time coming in onto the show. From what I see, we have a strong list of fans that have popped in on a regular basis. Mr. Pibbs has been our number 1 guy, Liberty Twitcher. Let's see, Courtney. Lucas was up here earlier, and Clips XS was up here. Red Void and Red Void's alternate, Silly Emma, Rudimus, and Noah. Noah was also up in here earlier. Gabriel, I think that was his homeboy, A10s, and HD He, and Lucas Posers. So appreciate all you guys. And now Carter's in the house, so I really appreciate you coming to the podcast, Carter. We are eventually going to be trying to make our way around the world. We just haven't got there yet. We just want to get our fan base up a little bit higher, because we are looking at, y'all know Pakistan and getting up there on the list now. We got Russia, Vietnam, United Kingdom, India, Germany, Australia, South Africa, Mexico, Canada, Indonesia, Philippines, and Romania. And now we got Pakistan. Ukraine is in there too, but we kind of can't talk about Ukraine because of what's happening in Ukraine. So, but they're in there with the United Kingdom right up there towards the middle. So we really appreciate all the other countries around the world that is watching us on the podcast as we get bigger. Just keep looking out for some of the stuff that we got going on, and we're gonna educate you, empower you, motivate you, inspire you, and teach you some ways to make some fucking money. And the money making ideas that we're giving to you guys is able to be done in any country. You're just going to have different monetary values and different sources that you're going to be putting that money into, but it can be done in any location. You just got to balance out your budget, have you a little bit more money that you don't need than the amount of money that you actually make, so that you can take some of the money that you don't need to invest in some of the things that we're talking about. So just remember, live 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 5 Pacific, 7 days a week. Hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow night with our tomorrow we're talking about tax liens, the ups and downs of tax liens, what you have to expect with tax liens, and how to work your way around some of the losses that are involved with tax liens, because just like most high valued financial investments, the tax liens is a very volatile market to be in, but you can reap tons of rewards from that. We're going to go into the details about what that is and how you can go about navigating through that tomorrow. Until then, thank you for coming to This and That.